All right, what's up, everybody? I am super pumped to interview the one and only Deborah Byrd. Usually, Deborah and I are co-hosting our Friday Mastermind, but today I am interviewing Deborah. What's up, Deborah?
What's up? It's so weird. We usually see each other on Fridays, and we both almost missed our scroll stopping thumbnail. So good to see you midweek.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you midweek, and usually, I we're kind of on the same side of the desk, and
Yeah.
we're moderating and interviewing someone else. So I'm excited to just learn what you're doing, hear how you're using social media, and I love the headline to increase conversion and accelerate trust.
Yeah.
And Dan Keller came up with a headline about trust, and I swear he did not know about your headline. I didn't look at your headline, but he had something kind of similar. And I guess we all
Well,
think,
it's ironic you say that because the first week that I had gotten into mortgage back in 2012, if you can believe it, it's been over 10 years. I went to Sales Mastery with Denise, and it was our first time ever to go. And Dan Keller was on stage that year talking about social media. And it was really because of him and that presentation and, everyone on stage at Sales Mastery where I was like, all right, I think I could do this. Like, this isn't a sleazy, salesy, because, my perception of a loan officer, even though my sister was one, but, it wasn't the highest of caliber. And then when I see people like Dan who are consistently creating educational content, it just really positions you as someone with credibility and authority and someone who cares. And so, if it weren't for him and for you guys, I may not be on this stage today. So thank you.
yeah, no, it's an honor, and I don't think you need an introduction, but just in case a brand new loan officer or someone new to the community is watching this, I do want to give a bit of an introduction. So guys, this is Deborah Byrd. She has been a loan officer. Her sister, Denise Donahue, is one of the top mortgage coaches. She's gone beyond loan officer and she's truly a mortgage coach performing at the highest levels. Any idea what Denise is going to do this year in production?
No, but I do know she's more focused than ever on her conversion and realized how much she was losing.
Yeah, no, she's always not just in the top 1%. I mean, she's in the half a percent of
Yes.
1% out of Dallas Cowboy. Deborah is the leading and the top social media consultant in the mortgage industry. She manages social media for a lot of the most successful mortgage professionals that have a social media presence. She is my co-host on the Friday Mastermind. So every Friday, 9 o'clock, Deborah has been co-hosting that for, are we going on 3 years?
I think so.
Yeah,
Three. Yeah.
years. And then she, the thing I think that distinguishes her is not only does she understand social media, but she really understands the business. I mean, she's been through Todd Duncan's High Trust Selling Academy like
I think
countless
four times.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Four
been
or five.
through Renee Rodriguez's Amplify. So
Twice.
yeah, twice. So a lot of and I could go on. She's been through Phil Jones's exactly what to say to the point that she's now certified, and her and Todd teach exactly what to say workshops. So she is a mortgage coach. She can teach and train selling skills, marketing skills, but at the end of the day, she is the social media guru. Uh, and then one more framing statement. Deborah, is that the NAR settlement just came out. And I truly believe that not truly believe, there is obviously a massive opportunity for mortgage professionals to bring more value to agents. So we might even want to adjust the headline when we put this on YouTube and figure out a way to get the NAR settlement in here just because it might get more views and create more value. Let me know if you have a better headline when we're done.
Yeah. In fact, I'll show you kind of what I did for our clients. And I really try to model the example of, teaching and showing, demonstrating. So, before I was ever in origination, I was a teacher. And so I love to teach and coach and train at heart. and I'm always coupling, marketing and sales skills. So this was I did a video that went out to all of my clients. And I just gave kind of my perspective and framing around the NAR settlement and how to best use this to position yourself to win with agents at a time when, they need your guidance and leadership more than ever. And then along with the actual 108-page settlement, in case anyone actually wanted to read that. But this kind of shows you, in fact, Dave, if you scroll down far enough, oh, look, we have the first home IQ quiz included. We have a TCA example. And then, we also include a battle plan, and we can go into this later, but typically I find that most people, they challenge with not knowing what to do, what to post, what to say. And so we really lay it out, following the Win by Noon planner and kind of the theme days to show, okay, here's your marketing activity for the day. And then here's also your sales activity for the day. And I feel like I always need to, kind of put that asterisk where marketing doesn't eliminate sales. Now,
Right.
the better your marketing, the less skilled do you have to be technically in sales, maybe, but marketing helps you get to the 1-yard line. Sales ultimately has to convert and get you to the end zone to score. And so that's usually the biggest challenge when people are trying to copy others and they want like this magic secret formula of just tell me exactly what to do for 30 days. And then will I end up like Denise? And I'm like, well, it doesn't always work that way because there's a level of performance. Like, how do you perform the scripts, or do you have a follow-up strategy? Do you use MortgageCoach and use data when you're giving your presentations, or are you just sitting an itemized fee worksheet? Because all of that is included in the reputation and the conversion aspect of, being a pro. And so, we did give our take on the NAR settlement, and I do really feel, although I didn't watch Dan's meeting with you just before this, I can't wait to watch it, because I do think, what you post and the narrative that you put out publicly, it does matter. There's some people that are freaking out and maybe making some posts that I wouldn't necessarily make, and then others that are choosing to be the educator and the guide and seeking to understand, where their partners are and how they can best assist. And I think it's no secret, it's most likely the buyer presentation for agents.
Yeah. So that thing you just showed us, that was I think a mortgage marketing platform, right?
Yes,
And,
lender marketing. Yeah.
lender marketing platform.
Mhm.
And then is that link something you're going to share, or is that just for your clients? Is that
Yeah,
like,
I can share it. In fact, I was thinking, Dave, even for first home IQ, that this would be a great thing to embed in all of your ambassadors to have as a survey link, but also, for people who just want to give. Like, maybe there's even borrowers that they may know a little bit of the proceeds of every loan goes towards first home IQ, but they may not know that you could give. And so that's what I really like about this tool. And for those who've never seen it before, I highly recommend it. I can't believe it's only $99 a month, but it's almost like a mini website where they could, schedule a call. Obviously, this would be your application link, but you can marry it with PDFs or, multiple links or TCAs. So it's a fantastic tool when you
yeah,
are,
it's a teaching tool.
yeah,
It's like a digital, um, I was going to say chalkboard, but it's a,
classroom.
what's that? Yeah,
Classroom. I
digital
mean,
classroom. By the way, there it is. It's the digital
it really
classroom,
is.
that allows you to put all kinds of different content in that. And so, yeah, if you could, for anyone watching this that wants to get access to one of your digital classrooms and, some of the resources that will help them communicate, what's happening, and then also, turn it into an advantage. So,
Right.
so again, the headline is how to increase your conversion, accelerate your trust. So what are the how-tos? Like if we were, doing a playbook and there are some principles and there are some strategies, what are those to help people, do that on social media during this time?
Well, so what why I picked this headline is I was actually at Cindy Ertman's retreat with her coaching clients. And one of the questions that, and this was her, mortgage mastermind elite group. So these are like heavy hitters. And one of the questions that they had asked is like, how do you really measure impact of your social media? Like, how do you know if it's actually working? So this would be more of a, advanced, or at least someone who's on social. So if you're listening to this and you're not on social, then that would be homework assignment number 1, because we typically buy and do business with people that we trust. And I can't trust you if I can't see you. And so the great thing about social is you get to control that narrative. It's your online transparency of a resume of what you choose to show. So if you don't want to share certain things that are private to you, then guess what? You don't have to share it. But you do need to have visibility just to also control the possible narrative that your clients, when they're referred to you, or if you're being recruited, or if you're recruiting, so branch managers on here, this probably won't be foreign to you, that most of us, when we get someone's name, we're usually checking them out on social and we're judging them. Like, if we're going to be perfectly honest, like, is she batshit crazy? Is she, an educator? Is she someone that shows up and is professional and is articulate? So the first and foremost, you've got to be online, and, I would say not as a private account and not with a profile picture that's missing, because if someone does go to search your name and they don't find you, you risk them making up a story in their head that's like, oh, I was given Dave's info and I go to look him up and I can't find him. Like, he maybe got out of the business. I know rates went up. I know the market's tough, so maybe he got out. And so part of this is just controlling the narrative that people could assume, but it's also to position yourself as the authority. And in order to grow your influence and to grow that authority, you've got to be showing up consistently. So consistency is different for everybody. I usually say this is dependent on your capacity. So, some people have big teams, some people don't. And so the goal is to pick what's consistent for you and then to show up. The second part to that is making sure that you actually have a profile that people, when they do land on your account, what is the first impression that they're going to make? And Dave, can I share my screen on my phone?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Share
I want to
anything
make
you
sure
want.
that because this will be easier if I can actually show you, because just so you guys know, when you look from a mobile phone versus your computer, it looks different. So let me share.
Yeah, let me make sure I see it. Okay, I'll tell you when I see it. And if anybody's watching this and you have questions, put those below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching this in the Trust Engine Facebook group, share it. And yeah, we're seeing it.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing is, let's just say if I go to your profile page, you want to make sure it's a public professional account. And the why behind that is because you want to be able to see your insights and analytics. Okay. But remember that if someone were to come across your post, or maybe you made a reel, or maybe Dave's interviewing you and he tags you. And so the traditional funnel is then people are going to tap on your name and they're going to go to your profile. And so you're going to want to make sure that you have, a bio that explains what you do. You're going to want a link. So you'll see right where it says Linktree, I have a call to action, and I make it very easy for people to just click. And when you click on this, by the way, what I love about Linktree is it's a micro website and you can change these links at any time, and it doesn't alter the link that's in your bio. And I've come across a lot of accounts where they don't even have a link at all, or it's just their website link. And I'll show you where to look at these metrics to tell whether or not you're converting at a high or low level, but you can actually measure through this app of how many people are clicking on your link from your profile. Right under that, you will see the social media updates. So this is just a channel that I have. It's kind of like a Facebook group for Instagram, except it is a one-way communication channel. And so there's a lot of things that I'll just drop in there that I don't always post. So this, obviously that's that's just another distribution channel. But then I want you to notice, see where it says schedule call, reviews, scheduling. These are called highlights. And I want you to think of this as this is kind of like the new way of having a website, or the modern website. The old school way of a website, those the little hamburger lines that you could then go on different landing pages. I want you to think of those landing pages are now where the highlight section is. And this is the reason why this is important is because humans are lazy, and the younger the human, the less tolerant they are, where they're most likely not going to scroll through your entire feed when they're, looking for solutions or advice to a problem that they have. So these highlights, think of them as like playlists, allow them to point and click and consume or binge watch based off their needs. So Dave, you talk a lot about speed to need. So maybe you have, a section that's all about first-time homebuyers, and that educational track is going to be a little bit different than, move-up buyers or investors or right sizing or, relocation buyers or construction buyers. So you guys kind of get the drift, where these are, meant to be binge worthy, point and shoot solution content for their specific needs. The other thing you'll notice is I have 3 posts that are pinned at the top. Now, the strategy to this is, what is it that you want people to see right when they land on your Instagram? Because the challenge is what I hear a lot of clients say is like, oh, I made this great post, but it's like, multiple feet down. Like most people probably aren't going to scroll to find it, but you could have, like, in About Me, Shayla Gifford actually has a great one pinned at the top left that is introducing who she is. Or maybe you have one that's talking about how this market is nothing like 2008, but you actually have the data and the graphics to prove why it's not. That could be one that you want pinned at the top. So these are just small little tactics that, are helpful for if you get people visiting your profile and you're wondering, is this working? Like, I don't know, on my lead forms that I have coming in, it says on the referral source, it says an agent referred me, but, how do I know? Is any part of that factoring in that moment of influence? Like the moment someone lands on your feed and they judge you and they think, okay, is this person an expert? Can I trust them? Are they going to protect my self-interest? And in that moment of influence, they then may decide to contact you. But it's misleading, because a lot of times we only measure metrics based off what Encompass or whatever your, software says as a referral source. So just one little nugget for you guys to take away is, how do you show up? Like, search your name in the search bar, because it's however you're usually referred. So if people refer out the mortgage nerd, you're probably going to want to make sure that when you type in the mortgage nerd, what shows up. For me, my challenge was always Deborah Byrd. No one spells my name right. It's the short Deborah, which is not correct.
BIRD, right?
Yeah. And so I would do this on all the platforms. Like, make sure your brand is consistent. It's congruent on the messaging. It's public so people can see it. You have a bold profile picture that shows your face and your eyes, not one with no profile picture, or, one where you're looking to the side. And then ask yourself, when you scroll for a couple feet, like, how does your content make someone feel? Make someone think? Do you look like a pro? Is your last post from 2019 and it's a testimonial from a couple years ago? It's important.
Yeah. I think you were the one that turned me on to Linktree, or I'd heard of it, but finally I got it. How is that being used? What are the best practices? Because I see tons of mortgage professionals, mortgage coaches, and realtors creating social media and creating value and creating noise.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we want leads. We want
Right.
loans. And, I always felt like Linktree is a great way to go from social attention to driving people into specific content and specific call to actions. What are some of the best practices?
So the first thing I would say is, if you click on the 3 lines on the top right here, the first way to measure the success of that link, Dave, is a couple ways. One, if you go to your insights, which I highly recommend that we're visiting our insights regularly, but if you tap on insights,
Okay.
And there's a couple different ways that you can get to this. One, you may want to look at the very bottom, see where it says content you shared. I could tap on, let's just say post. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change. I always look at my last 30 days. I don't ever look at the last 7 days. It's too quick of a time period. So best practice, guys, is just change the top left to last 30 days. And if you wanted to look from like an overall standpoint, you could click on accounts reached here at the top right under where it says overview. Do you see that, Dave?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so if you click that, and guys, this is good information just in general. You can see your top, cities, your followers and non-followers. But if you keep scrolling down, do you see where it says external link taps? 30. So in the last 30 days, that means I've had 784 profile visits and 30 external link taps.
Wow.
Now, another way you can access this, and what I like to do is I'll go to Insights, and let's say I want to look at, by default, it always goes back to last 7 days. So you just have to change that to last 30, which is kind of annoying. But Dave, you do a lot more in your stories. So for you, what I would probably do is I would go down to see where it says stories. I'm going to tap stories. And at the top where the little filter icon is, I can click filter, and I'm going to change my metric. Right now it says reach. And for some of you, you may want to see based off reach, but if we're talking specifically about that external link, I want to change it to website taps. And then click apply. And so this shows, okay, well, which of your stories in the last 30 days had the most? Now, I don't typically put links in my stories. So what I may want to do is go back to actual post, and I'm going to change my filter. And what's really neat, guys, is y'all can look at this from like views, shares, saves. Like I think a lot of people underestimate the saves and the shares are the gold. It's not the likes or the comments. But for this, example, I'll go to website taps, and then I'll click apply. And now I can see which of my content is actually getting more people to click the link in my bio and why. And then that helps me craft a better content strategy for the next month. So that's just one aspect that I do think people need to, not just post and ghost or post and hope that their content is working. That was kind of my big takeaway from Cindy Ertman's event is, there's a lot of people like, maybe I want to look at engagement. I had a great call yesterday, and and this is a big, player in our space, more of a regional. And he was really focused on either post interactions or profile visits were kind of his big things. Like he was just curious, like how many people are actually landing on his profile. And so I said, well, you can actually determine that by the exact post and the exact stories that you're making. And he was like, you're kidding me. I'm like, no. So this gives me an indication of like this one, anytime it's an educational, like this is not a surprise when it is about, scripting, or sorry, no, this one was about, here's the ideal content length for each social network. That's an educational carousel post. So you can see just by looking at these numbers, now I can be more intentional with my future content. So again, how I access that is these top 3 lines in the top right, and then I go to Insights. Now, what another area is, let's look at total followers, okay? So if I click total followers, and again, I'm going to change this to the last 30 days. And just for perspective, guys, it's important to realize, like around February 25th, when you look at my graph, Dave, do you remember where we were at that time? Momentum builder. So it's remember, the last 30 days is always measuring, from the 30 days before that. And it's very common to have some people that unfollow you. Don't let that hurt your feelings. There are still a lot of bots out there. You're going to have some unfollows. But you also need to be aware of, like, if you're hosting masterminds, if you're on stages, you may have these big peaks. Like, I'm sure after this week, after Modern Mortgage Summit, I may have a lot more followers that choose to interact. But at the bottom, which, Dave, this would be great for first home IQ people because it gives you age range, gender. But this part at the very bottom, if you tap on the bars, the bar graph, it will actually tell you when is your most optimal time to post. Like, when do you have the most eyeballs on? Now, during COVID, these numbers were crazy, but I could click this right arrow and now I can go to Tuesdays, Wednesdays. And see, most people, what they typically do is they just post whenever, and they don't understand why they're not getting, the reach or the impressions. And it's like, well, dude, if you're posting it, 11 o'clock at night, or maybe it's 5 a.m. because you're at the gym or in the sauna, that may not be your optimal time. Like, for me, it's 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Not by a whole lot. I mean, I could probably get away with anything from 12 to 6, but wouldn't it be important to make sure that you're posting when you have the most amount of eyeballs on?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's do this, Deborah. What advice are you giving to all your coaching clients right now in this period of time? It's been less than 2 weeks, but a week and a couple of days since the NAR news. What advice are you giving to help, increase conversion, accelerate trust, using social media to all the clients that you coach? And then also would love to know if anybody, was watching this and they want to hire you or learn more about your services, what would they do?
So first and foremost, it's kind of a non-negotiable on Tuesdays. And I always give this as an example in our battle plans. It's really just my way to also bridge the financial literacy gap of loan officers. I know you always say no borrower left behind. I'm kind of like no loan officer left behind, or mortgage coach. And so
Yeah.
I know I can make a bigger impact with humans by just leveling up some of the loan officers who we work with. So it's a way for me to show, like, a commission gap strategy is one that was this week. And how powerful is that to be able to go on social?
Commission gap. I like that.
And that is totally taken from Scott Nicholson. Like, I learned so much from him just from our Wednesday calls that we do. It's powerful. And so imagine if you're meeting with your agents, which I hope everybody is, like, that was my first thing with our clients, is you need to be like 911 meeting with your VIPs of those who already trust you with their referrals, and show up with solutions. Like, let's not focus on the problem. Let's focus on the solution. If you want to see what that looks like, Dave, this is what the commission gap strategy looks like. And I give, here's the hook. Here's column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. And this is meant to be used either as a green screen when you're on social, or also for your one-to-many, if it's, you're hosting a live event via Zoom or in person. I would have this printed out so that they can follow along and they can understand, like, here's how we do it today. Here's if there's, no commission offered. Here's a built-in commission where we're going 20 grand over. But let's say this is the plan we're executing and the appraisal comes in low. So it again shows a solution. And to me, Dave, we have to get better at showing these types of graphics on social to validate the words that we say. Otherwise, we just look like salespeople. So this is one example from an aspect of your ideal client is an agent, but let's talk about home affordability. Let's talk about renters. Like, what are their problems? According to NAR, their number one pain point is the down payment. So if
Right.
and so it's like, if that's what I know, I'm making content for what is valuable to my ideal audience. What are the things that they are searching? What platforms are they on? If you're a Gen Zer, you may want to get a Twitch account and get a Be Real and be on TikTok and be on YouTube, or be on a gaming convention, because, like, esports is a big deal. It's like you're going to want to get in front of that target audience and then think about what are their struggles. Getting a job, going to college, juggling the transition of adulthood. And so it's not just, the brand pillars and the content pillars, you have some that are very, specific to mortgage, as we want to be known for mortgage as a mortgage coach. We're not an order taker LO. So once a week, I call it TCA Tuesday, make that your mortgage strategy day, how you show how easy it is for customers to reach out to you and to make clear and transparent and empowered decisions, because you show them not just payment and cash to close, but how today's decision may impact you over time. Now, likewise, I still think we need to be doing more interviews. And Dave, you're my go-to example of this, where Wednesdays are your host your show day, and you're interviewing a business owner in the community or a student athlete or someone that is giving your audience a reason to follow you after the close. Because I believe social media should be an extension to your CRM. In fact,
Yeah.
every Monday I tell
Well, in some ways it is the new CRM,
It
like
is.
it is, it's a communication platform. A CRM is a communication platform. And yeah,
If,
it's,
if you had it's reputation management, it's reputation at scale. So social media, guys, for some of you who are like, I'm not going to do dancing videos. That is not just what social media is. It is your reputation and trust at scale. It's networking at scale, but it's also relationship management. So every Monday in our battle plan, clients will, any contact that they would traditionally add to a CRM, I'm telling them to add it to your social data bank. Because if you're going to stay top of mind with your clients or partners, why wouldn't you do it on the single medium that most people spend their time on? That is where the human attention is. So
right.
I'm talking like, even when if it's a first client phone call, before I hang up that phone, I'm going to say, hey, Dave, by the way, I'm sure you're on social media. Which one's your poison of choice, so to speak? And you would say, Dave, just pick one. I mean,
Oh, wait, what? A what?
what would be your social media? So I was saying on an initial phone call of someone who's, wanting to apply, before I even hang up the phone, if you were the client, I would say, okay, Dave, I'm sure you're on social media. Which social platform do you typically choose to consume on the most? And you'd say,
Um, Probably consume on Instagram the
okay,
most and LinkedIn.
okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Do me a favor, make sure that you receive that notification. Make sure you follow me back, because every week we are committed to creating educational content. And you may have that, 2 a.m. freak out moment as a home buyer, which can happen. And we want to make sure that you get, the education, the resources at your fingertips. So I'm not waiting until the end of a close to then ask for a review and for them to follow. I am default aggressive and
I like
growing
that.
my social data bank, and I'm using it like a CRM. Every agent that I call for a listing, or for an offer submission, I'm having clients add them to your social data bank. Now that only works if you're creating content as
I
well.
love, love, love that. Now, if anybody wants to learn more about your services, where do they go? What do they do?
Well, they can click my link in any bio on social, or they can go to plugandplaysm.com.
Boom. So for any mortgage professional, highly recommend it. We are getting more and more real estate professionals. Do you do social media consulting for real estate professionals and mortgage,
So
or any
only
teams?
So my rule is I will work with a real estate agent as long as a mortgage coach has referred them to us, and there's some level of commitment from the agent that they are loyal to that mortgage coach, because we are very team mortgage. But if we can
Got it.
help amplify an agent and it helps bring business back to the LO, then we will do it. But our bread and butter is obviously mortgage professionals.
Yeah. Well, Deborah, I am super grateful for you. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'll probably see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we've got the big event on Thursday. Anybody watching this, if you're watching this today, or I guess tomorrow, you can sign up for the virtual event. But big guys, following Deborah on all of her channels, having a consultation with her, just learning about what she does, you'll be better, So fill out her links, get a consultation. And to me, the more mortgage coaches that are working with Deborah, the more we are amplifying our mission out there in the market. So really appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Oh yeah.
Bye.
Do we get there we
Oh,
go. There it
look.
goes.
Wow.
Did you know about that?
Cool. Well, I didn't know you could. Why isn't it doing it for me?
And you can do this.
What?
You don't have it turned on.
Don't rub it in. That is so cool.
Yeah, well, you'll learn. You'll learn. I'll after that we turn off the show here, I'll show you how to do it. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.